Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be another Scientology from a Scientologist Perspective video. So we're going to start this off with a trigger warning. If you do not, well, let's just put it this way. If you find my viewpoints or my commentary on this religion triggering in any way, go ahead and click off this video. If you do not like my delivery of this commentary on this religion triggering as well, go ahead and click off this video. You might as well click off this channel because I do a lot of these videos. With all of that said, let's go ahead and get into this video. Today I'm covering an article from the Underground Bunker. It's called Leaked Scientology's Secret Playbook for World Domination. Tony Ortega posted this on April the 10th of this year. That's going to be 2019, just in case you're watching this in another year, but whatever. I've got the article pulled up here on my phone, and I have my notes here in front of me, so let's go ahead and dive in. He's going to be talking about Tarpley Hit from the Daily Beast and the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, shortened acronym for that's going to be the CCHR. So if you hear me refer to it as the CCHR, that's going to be the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, and Tarpley Hit is from the Daily Beast. So let's get into that. Citizens Commission on Human Rights is Scientology's front group with a mission to not only criticize psychiatry but destroy it. These are the people behind what is that thing called? The Psychiatry and Industry of Death Museum that's on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. Well, they're behind a lot more stuff than what I actually thought. So this is pretty interesting and pretty damning article in my opinion. So Tarpley Hit from the Daily Beast spoke with Ortega, that's going to be Tony Ortega, the writer of this blog, about CCHRs and about their famous or infamous Psychiatry and Industry of Death Museum on Sunset Boulevard. And Ortega encouraged Hit to ask the guide, because Tarpley Hit was going to go on a guided tour of the museum. So Ortega encouraged Hit to ask her guide, what are you suggesting should replace psychiatry? So with that, you know, she's like, what would be the answer? We all know that Scientology wants to be the replacement for psychiatry. They want psychiatry out of the way. They want Scientology everywhere because they believe psychiatry is evil. But it says Scientology can be a little shy about what they're trying to accomplish, which is to dismantle the modern mental health industry and replace it with L. Ron Hubbard's quack ideas about the human mind. It says, rarely have we seen that mission so clearly spelled out than in a glossy guide that the church itself put out to its members who attended a special IAS seminar in 2010. The guide was leaked to us by one of its tipsters. So this is actually going to be a picture of that. It's called the Global Salvage Campaign Seminar Guide. So this is a playbook for Scientology's front groups over the last decade. So at first, it states on the front page of the CCHR's mission. As a Scientologist, I pledged myself to the code of Scientology for the good of all. Then it has, you know, blah, 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 blah. Number 6, to help clean up and keep the field of mental health. To help clean up and keep the field of mental health. And keep clean. I cannot read today. And keep clean the field of mental health. And this was directly wrote out by L. Ron Hubbard. So it gives you 3 steps. Step 1, continue to saturate the planet with the truth about psychiatry through the Psychiatry and Industry of Death Museum and traveling exhibits throughout the globe. Step 2, broadly enlighten with airplay of both CCHR's public service announcements and its powerful documentaries, A Psychiatry and Industry of Death, Making a Killing, The Marketing of Madness, and now including Dead Wrong. And in addition, new regional documentaries for France and the UK are added to the arsenal, with more to come for other areas. So on top of their set museum, they have traveling like trucks with exhibits that they have going places. On top of that, they have this list of documentaries, and then they have regional documentaries for France and the UK. Then step 3 is to activate the broad public and creating an army of psych busters, and with wide-ranging saturation, print and internet, and mass mailings of materials and marketing of madness education packages. The result, a world without psychiatry, free of psychiatric influence and suppression. So that is their main goal, is to saturate everybody with this anti-psychiatry propaganda through these 3 steps. So they were to start with their museum and their traveling exhibits. Then they have all their documentaries, and they have broad documentaries, and then they have regional documentaries, and then they're going to go out with ads, both print and internet ads. Then they also have mass mailing materials and education packages preaching against psychiatry, and they are hoping with all of this they will discourage everybody from psychiatry. They can rid the world of psychiatry and move on. But again, the question is, what are you going to replace psychiatry with? The only answer is Scientology. But Scientology has its own problems. You have so many people committing suicide from Scientology that could have been helped with psychiatry. Moving on. In the material, the CCHR boasts more than 120,000 people have toured the facility in LA. And I give you, they probably have. But it's probably more for just the shock value or the oddity value than it is for actually anything other than that. I mean, I live close to Memphis. I've gone to Graceland once, more just for the oddity value than for any real education on Elvis Presley. They have a mobile truck museum touring America with exhibits on the horror of psychiatry. Now, I'll give you this. Psychiatry's history is pretty horrible, but so is modern medicine's history. So is our legal system's history. So is a lot of things history. History itself is pretty horrific. So, do you want to just throw away everything? I don't think so. They have an Industry of Death documentary and an information kit. This is distributed to key publics of the campaign in response to general inquiries about psychiatry. So let's take a step back. Here is a picture of the museum right here. So this is what the museum looks like. And like I said, this is probably for more of the shock value on the reason why people are going to look at it. Here is an example of one of the trucks and the kind of traveling exhibits that they have going around the country. Again, people are probably going to those for more of the oddity value. This is the kind of documentary kits they're talking about. These are distributed to key public, so that means key workers in the Scientology realm and for people that are kind of making inquiries. So these are going to probably be more of your like outist type people, you know, people that are like anti-vaxxers and anti-medication type people that are making inquiries about anti-psychiatry propaganda. So moving on from that, said there is also an education package promoting their documentary, The Marketing of Madness. Are We All Insane? This contains the documentary, seminar manual, and booklets on psychiatric drugs. So this is what it's talking about right here. Then it moves on to, we are also promoting another documentary called Dead Wrong. This discusses psychiatric drugs in children. Now, with this one, I do have some personal words to speak on because I did work in the psychiatric world. I was case manager for mentally and emotionally disturbed children, and in some instances I did see where children were being over medicated. This is a problem. But if you work with the right case manager, therapist, and doctor, this can be avoided. If you have proactive parents, this can be avoided. If you have a good school district, this can be avoided. But if any step along the way somebody is not working with another person, you have problems. So say you have a parent that's kind of lazy and it doesn't make your children take their medication correctly. So that parent doesn't make their child take their medicine correctly and then they send them to school. Okay, so the child is acting up at school. So when the case manager comes in to check on the child, the parent is like, oh, well, you know, everything's kind of okay here, but I'm having problems here, there, or the other. When the case manager goes to the school's like, well, this medication's not working because this kid can't concentrate, we're having behavioral problems, what have you. So then the case manager takes the data that they get from talking to the parent and the school back to the therapist. Now, grant you, the parent never said, I haven't been giving them their medicine correctly. So that piece of information is left out. So then when the case manager takes back that information to the therapist and works with the therapist then takes that information back to the doctor. The doctor thinks that they have to up the medication, which then leads to a zombified child. But if everybody works harmoniously together, then you have children that are getting the proper medication that they need to control their problems, and children can function and work well together. And sometimes children don't even need medication. They just need to learn the right coping skills to deal with their problems. Some of the kids that I had on my caseload just needed to learn how to express their anger or frustration properly because they were raised in an environment where they learned those kind of skills. And once you taught those kind of skills to them, they could learn how to do that. They didn't need any medication. So yes, I understand this point of view about medication in children. It's a very scary area. But there's two sides to that coin. Anyway, now that I've got that little spill out of the way, they go on. This is a documentary talking about children and psychiatric drugs. And that is the little documentary kit that comes with it. So then it moves on. It says the seminar book also contained information on other human concerns, drug-free world and volunteer ministries, which was more basically just recruiting nonsense that they, fabricate on how they're getting to a clear planet. Oh, we did this and we did that, which is more just blowing smoke up each other's asses than anything else. But the final section of the booklet is called Scientology, a Global Infusion, and that is what it looks like right there. And there's this big section that's written by L. Ron Hubbard. It says, "There is no greater game in the universe than Scientology, for it is the only game in the it's the only game in which everybody wins, and that places it far above all other games and makes it the game of games, where everybody gets the ultimate prize of self and sound companionship as well." Then it goes into another set of steps. This time it has 4 steps. So step 1, continue to air the Scientology ads new and existing on primetime network TV in the United States and around the world, which we saw that at the Super Bowl. If you guys don't remember that, I can't remember which one of those it is, but if you look for my thumbnail that has Mr. Peanut on it, they did do an ad during Super Bowl that Mr. Peanut kind of had a little role in, where he kind of like threw some shade at Scientology that was very funny, and I did speak on that, which was hilarious to me. Now Mr. Peanut is an SP, just in case you're wondering. Step 2, launch a flanking internet advertising campaign to drive people to Scientology.org with ads placed on high visibility news and culture sites and web locations frequented by publics searching for answers. So what, you're going to place a bunch of ads on like Yahoo Answers and Google searches? I don't think you want some of those people that are looking for answers to come to your website. Just saying. Step 3, drive millions to meet a Scientologist on Scientology.org with internet video ads tailored to particular interests, professions, and demographics. Again, this is another problem that seems to be surfacing with Scientologists when they start talking about demographics. Because if you look at Scientology, it's a very, very white world. I'm going to step away from that one and leave you to think on it for a second. Step 4, once on the site, visitors find answers to all of their questions with 528 hours of online videos and some 98,000 pages of content, and lronhubbard.org at the center of it all. The result, LRH solutions spreading across the world at whole new orders of magnitude. And again, a whole lot of grandeur and a whole lot of delusion. At the end of the booklet, they have a quote from L. Ron Hubbard. "I need your help. You need my help, but most of all, man needs our help. For we are today the only team, even vaguely in shape, on the face of Earth capable of pulling him out of the mud and setting man on the road toward destiny." This is the kind of stuff that keeps some of these people on this path. They keep thinking that they have all the answers. They keep thinking that they are the only ones that can help mankind. They keep thinking that if they just keep trudging and trudging and trudging, that there's going to be some great reward at the end of the path. But here's the problem. You're the problem. There's so many issues with what you do, and there's so many issues with your organization that nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants that. I mean, it's a cult. I mean, if you can't figure that out from just right there, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But that's going to be the end of this Scientology from a Scientologist perspective. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell. I'm going to try to get a couple more of these Scientology videos up on the site for you guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section down below. Also, if you have any articles that you want me to check out, you can leave them on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or in my email. All of those are going to be linked in the description box right underneath me. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video, and I'll see you on the next. Bye for now.